Heather Martin here for You Rule. I know it's been a while since I uploaded any videos, and I'm really sorry about that. But I'm back, and I have an interview for you today. I was really excited to be able to interview a friend of mine that I've been friends with for a couple of years on Facebook, and it was the first time that we ever spoke sort of face to face over FaceTime. So the quality of the video is not perfect, but I think you're going to get a lot of really good things out of it. At various times, I will kind of pull away just to explain some of the things she was saying and to really make sure that you catch the really important thing that she was describing. I don't want to give it away, so I'm not going to use the actual term till you get there. But periodically, I'll be putting pictures and words in there, little definitions, that kind of thing. So as you watch, you'll see maybe some photographs of what she's talking about, that kind of good stuff. And then I'm going to cut away. So enjoy my conversation with Milla. Where were you born, Milla?
I was born in the Soviet Union, in Republic of Ukraine. We had 15 republics. I think that Soviet Union was copying the United States. And so as the United States had 50 states, we had 15 republics. So, yeah, it was the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what year was that you were born?
1959.
1959.
Long
Okay.
time.
Now, what was that?
Long time ago.
No, not really. It gets shorter and shorter time ago all the time,
That's
right? So 59.
58 for now. I will be 50
Okay.
December, but it's okay.
Okay. All right.
Still 59.
Oh, I guess I was saying the year. I wasn't
No,
even doing
right,
the math.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what did your family do in the Republic of Ukraine?
My mother was working as an engineer, but she didn't have degree because she did not have higher education. She was holding like engineering position, but her salary was like much lower. And my father actually was an engineer in, I don't know how to say it. It's probably like the factory, the plant, they were making freezers, refrigerators. So he was an engineer there.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So, where's there, people make jokes about the Soviet Union, and they say that there was like one type of thing, and it was the refrigerator and the like it would be, there was only one.
Absolutely.
Were there multiple?
Absolutely.
So were there multiple brands of freezer, or was it like the Soviet
I am not
freezer?
sure. I think it was one type, and if I'm not mistaken, the name of the freezer was Dnieper, which means it's a river in Kiev.
Okay.
Yes. At least we
Was
had this refrigerator in my house. It was good.
was it? Is the river really cold? Is it like frozen over
I
all the
don't know.
time?
I never swam there. It's
Okay. I was
far
wondering
from my city. I was born in Kharkov. Kharkov is the first capital of Ukraine. It was the capital for like maybe 3-4 years, and then it was switched back to Kiev.
Okay. Whenever I started to learn about the Soviet Union and post World War II, when the Soviet took over those eastern countries in Europe, the Holodomor always is a huge issue. Did you have family, friends that lived through the Holodomor?
Actually, no, because it mostly touched Ukrainian population, not so much Jewish population.
Okay.
And we basically didn't know about this Nobody told us like during the history like classes or whatever. I think,
Really?
yeah, I think I've heard about uh, Golodomor. I will say it in Russian, Golodomor.
Is that how it's
Yeah, but
okay?
it's okay. In Ukrainian, it's Holodomor. You're right. But in Russian, it's
Okay.
Golodomor. Doesn't matter. So I think I've learned about this when I was out of school from like
Really?
independent sources. And
Wow.
yeah, of course, because Soviets were always nice to people, and they would never kill. They would never like grab people's stuff. They were always nice, and everything belonged to
Right.
people. But yeah, it was
Mm,
horrible. And actually, I learned maybe I was in my 20s. I never heard
hmm.
about this at school. Never, ever. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So your education, um, I've been watching some interesting YouTube videos where a former Soviet who'd come to America, uh, he's talking to American Soviets. Basically, these guys are wearing hammer and sickle shirts and they've got the red flags and all that stuff. And they tell him that, and I think he was born around a similar time frame for you,
I, I, wa-
a
I,
similar time
I think I
frame.
watched this video.
I bet you know who I'm talking about. I think his name is Vladimir or
It's
something.
no, there's no his face, just his voice, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes. Now people tell him, well, you were born outside the time of actual
Mm.
communism, and so therefore you don't know what you're talking about. And they talk about his education not being adequate, and him being
Uh-huh.
propagandized too. Could you talk a bit about your about the communist education curriculum that you endured?
You know what's funny? When you live there and everyone around you lives this way, at some point
Hmm.
you think it's normal. When you see
Right.
portraits of Lenin, Marx, Engels in your classroom, and even in
Hmm.
daycare, I thankfully I didn't go to daycare. I was in home
Wow.
with my grandma and grandfather, and but
Hmm.
my niece and my nephew didn't go to the my niece, right? So when I went to her like celebration, probably it was November 7th, day of Great October Socialist Revolution. They had red flags and they had portraits of Stalin and all this stuff, and actually you even don't notice like brainwashing starts very very early.
Wow.
Yeah, and we were reading like the quotes of Lenin. They were on the walls.
Yeah.
One of them was like you have to study and something like that. I can't translate in English, and
Mm.
also something about books. They were good quotes if you don't think that it was quotes made by like tyrant.
Hmm.
So my grandfather came to Ukraine from Lithuania, and
Hmm.
he was never talking about this. And we don't know how he came to from Vilnius to Ukraine. And
Hmm.
I know that his family was not very rich, but they were working and they were like had decent living. And when I remember he saying all the time, we have to sell our last short and run from this country. And his
Really?
dream never like happened because
Huh.
yeah, he died when I was 19. Anyway, so Soviets, they just ruined basically people's lives. And speaking about
Mm.
Holodomor again, the people who were like confiscated their like properties, they were not rich. They were just working people on the like on their land, and they were
Wow.
just everything was taken from them and they were killed with no mercy.
Hmm.
So
Mm.
yeah, and we had back to communist brainwashing. It's so like hard because it was our life. It was everything
Sure.
everywhere. when
Right.
we were in second grade, we were like accepted to the
Mhm.
organization. Yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah. The name was Октябрята. It's from
Oct-
October, because October
Uh-huh.
Revolution. Yeah,
Right.
and we
Okay.
had to
Then.
wear, I have to find it. I'll send you a photo. I think I posted a
Oh,
while ago. Like the star with
uh-huh.
picture of little, like probably he was 5 or 6, Lenin's.
I remember
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that.
So the like red star, we had to wear it, and
Mm-hmm.
every day somebody who was in charge, she, they were checking that we should wear those stars every day. So
Oh
it
my
was second
goodness.
grade. Then I think at fourth grade,
Mm-hmm.
we had to be part of a youth organization. It called the Pioneri, like pioneers,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
we were wearing red. What the name of it? Galstuk. You know Russian, right? Galstuk. No.
Little
Okay.
tiny bit.
Okay. Do you remember maybe photos Stalin with the Soviet children? They were like
Yeah.
red scarves, like some kind of scarves.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I'll get a picture of
Right.
that and put
Yeah,
it
yeah,
up.
yeah. So
Hmm.
it was like if we could be excused not wearing stars in second grade, like with the red scarf, it was no excuse. You, you could be, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Our teachers were writing in our like journals. We had journals
Hmm.
with all grades and teachers' comments. And teacher could write, parents, pay attention, your child is not wearing red, whatever, scarf.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Then,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
in seventh grade, it was like a culmination of all this propaganda. We had to be part of, okay, Soviet Communist Youth Organization. It
Hmm.
said Komsomol, Communist, Komsomol, Communist Union of Youth, if you
Okay.
translate. So, and
Hmm.
again, it was, we had meetings, useless, absolutely useless, but we would talk about America and capitalism and how they're like ruining the world and people relationship. It was really, really tough. You know, if like second grade, fourth grade, it's okay, but
Hmm.
closer to high school, it was horrible. And then again,
Really.
yeah, on like Russian literature. I was a teacher, right?
Hmm.
Like of Russian
Oh,
literature.
okay.
But
Uh-huh.
when I was at school, I always loved Russian literature. It's great. It's really great.
Uh-huh.
But when we had a choice to write an essay, we always
Hmm.
had like one topic out of three about communism and Brezhnev. You know who Brezhnev is?
Yeah, a little, but I'm familiar with the
Right.
name, just
He
a
was the
bit about
leader
him.
of Communist Party for 18 years. Just
Hmm.
like North Korea leaders, they're like in power forever, like Putin now.
Right.
Yeah, so it was Stalin. Then were a couple of people between Stalin, that one Khrushchev, couple of people, and then Brezhnev for 18 years. And
Okay.
it was he was kind of funny guy. Make
Uh-huh.
fun of him again behind closed doors. Nobody would hear us. But he was the
Mhm.
head of Communist Party for 18 years. And
Ah,
how do you say, when, like with Stalin, it was cult личности. You know what cult личности? When they
no.
put the person on pedestal, and
Hmm.
he was like a saint. Yeah,
Well, I've seen the way that the heroes of the Communist Party and the Soviet Union were lionized,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
they're those
Like
those portrait.
idols. Yeah, you can't.
Yes, yes, like a
Yeah,
saint
you can't
almost.
criticize, you
Hmm.
can't say anything bad, whatever. But Brezhnev, he was
Hmm.
kind of funny because he had these dentures when he was talking. No, 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 it's funny because you can't laugh. You could not laugh.
Okay.
You could get in trouble. But it was so
I,
funny. He made such funny sounds with this, and
they were
yeah,
clacking back and
and they
forth,
were
kind of.
so serious, like they,
Clack, clack.
his speeches were translated to like big audience. It was like
Uh,
20, not 24/7, but big chunk of the day because he was talking a
yeah.
lot. And it was just, yeah. So anyway, when we were writing essays, one of the topics was always Brezhnev works. He didn't write anything, people were writing for him, but he was considered
Mhm.
like a great author. He was writing novels about Second World War, which is he did not write, of course, but he had to
Right.
study his works and write poems and write essays about this. And it was very easy because to write something about Tolstoy or Chekhov, you had to
Mhm.
read Chekhov or Tolstoy or Dostoevsky. But with this
Uh-huh.
topic, you did not have to read anything. And you just like take any Soviet paper, like newspaper, and copy
Hmm.
and write whatever you want, and you get a good grade.
That is very
And I'm
interesting.
telling you, on my graduation exam for
Hmm.
literature, I chose this
Yeah.
topic because I know I would get a good grade.
Oh,
I,
oh, okay.
I,
I see. I thought you said you chose the topic of how nobody has to read anything in
oh
order
no,
to
no,
get a good
no.
grade.
There
No, no,
was
no,
no
no, no.
choice. There was no choice. There was like,
Right.
for example, Tolstoy, Pushkin, or communist achievements. So I chose,
Communist
yeah,
achievements
I
for the win.
chose whatever because it was easy grade and good bunch of
Yeah.
slogans. The Communist Party is the best. They're taking us to a bright future.
Yay.
It's yeah, it was all it was everywhere.
And you get that paper done in about a couple hours, maybe.
Oh yeah, like no, 45
There you
minutes.
go. 45 minutes.
We had 45 minutes to finish.
Yeah, and and that's that's pretty great when you're a lazy student. I have to say, I was a lazy student for a while, and it's pretty
Mhm.
great when you could just spit out a paper and you didn't have to do any research for it. And
Yeah,
hey, I got an A. I must be pretty good at this.
absolutely. Yeah, in some way. But um, it's okay. Not I'm not saying that I was like so smart or whatever,
Mhm.
but many people like here, they did not think and they did not like analyze. They just go with the flow
Mhm.
and that's it. And there are still, thank God, none of my friends, but there are still a lot of Soviets my age.
Mhm.
They miss that country. They miss this like fake stability
Mhm.
when you get like, your like 100 rubles
Mhm.
and when you have couple of kinds of, I don't know, like cheese, for example, and I don't know. So
Yeah.
people sometimes, not sometimes, I think most of the times, unfortunately, sacrifice like freedoms
Mhm.
and freedom of choice
Mhm.
to fake stability.